would be Hums, it's your boy LeBlue from Soviet Element, and today we are back at it with another world-building diary. Now, last time we left off at the Gatamism. So today I'm going to do something different, and I'm actually going to read it out. You can still pause and skip, but today I'm going to read it. So, Kairu. The Isle of Kairu sits off the coast of Alosia, due west of Otsama. In the south, the hot and humid marsh is home to many coal mines and ports, and in the north, a warm and pleasant paradise. Kairu was able to unify early due to its island geography. It is quite flat and subject to flooding, hurricanes, and thunderstorms. The Kingdom of Kairu was united in a bloody campaign led by Lanu Saito around the year 4421, using phalanx tactics he had learned in Minnan to fight off the local chiefdom coalition led by the Taize tribe. The Taize fled to Farupai whilst maintaining control of Berikam city. After years of siege in Berikam, the Kingdom of Kairu supported the Taize rebellion against the monarchy, forming the Taize Republic, a mercantilist puppet of Kairu. The Saito maintained control over the island via threatening the population with destruction from hurricanes. The Kairuans believed in Waro, god of the sea and sky, a wrathful and angry god who would bring destruction upon mankind. He created the world from the great wind, coalescing the earth into its form. The Kingdom of Kairu is large and divided, with regional landlords having great amounts of autonomy, and young runners relaying Lord Saito's commands. The war's clergy keep a close watch for the god as he travels to sea. This allows Lord Saito to keep a good grip on his empire, using the weather to keep his nation under control. To disgrace Lord Saito is punishable by death, as local governors dish out his laws at their own discretion, with the most popular punishment being coal mining. After the long years of siege in Berikam, the Taize people toppled the monarchy, with help from the mainland. The Kingdom of Kairu allowed the Taize to become autonomous, doing all the trade for the empire. In exchange for civil rights, knowing the Taize would just rebel again. Would just rebel again under the Saitos. Lanu decided to let them run themselves. The Taize people will elect a leader every 5 years and have full freedom of speech. The Taize people specialize in trade due to their coastal position, and the lack of mainland support forcing them to find supplies elsewhere during the siege. Taize traders sail across the known world, from Uragan Hot into the ports of western Otsama. Life in the Taize Republic and northern Kairu was comfortable, with marble structures, clean water, and a cooler climate than the muggy south. Fun fact, Taize traders actually discovered Otsama first and In Bermon last due to currents and winds. At the crack of dawn, you roll out of bed. You put on your buffalo skin clothing and head out to the docks. You pass the coal mines and clamber onto your ship for a day at sea. You and the crew pray to Lord Saito to keep Waro away and then begin your work. Later that day, some Taize sail past and ask to trade. You give them fish in exchange for some spears and a new net, as well as a little wooden turtle for your children. But you know you mustn't speak a word to them, for you know what Saito shall do. The rooster crows as you make breakfast for your family on a coal-powered stove, rice patties and fish as usual. You walk out to the farm and till the ground with your water buffalo and its plow. Not only will this beast provide labor, but sometimes cheese, milk, and even fresh meat. Normally, rice farming would be a man's job, but your husband has been sent to the coal mines for rebellion against Lord Saito. The governor and his goons come to your village to collect tribute. Upon his mighty buffalo, the governor looks down at you and says, "I demand half of all your rice, milk, meat, and coal." But the young men of the town are growing restless. 80 years after the Unification Wars, approximately 4501 AC, the southern landlords rebelled against Lord Saito. After a great hurricane struck the capital in 4499, Lord Saito increased tribute rates to the point where even the landlords would feel the pain. It would take 4 days to relay the message across the empire, and so they would have some time to rally an army. The peasantry was in even worse shape, and at least the landlords were local. The Taize, knowing the Kingdom of Kairu would eventually disrupt their liberties, sided with the less tribute-heavy landlords. It would be better for trade in the long run. The war was a bloody 9 years, ending in a landlord victory, mostly due to Taize mercenaries led by the great Welakon Farkon, who was actually half Altsaman. Like a pillar out of the sea, Bermon's beautiful mountain peaks jut out from the landscape. Vast and beautiful hills and valleys clothed in trees stretch from north to south, as sheep and goats graze the fertile fields. But the land is still yet ravenous, as Gavelda shall sometimes rain fire from her mountain home. Bermonians are descendants of the native peoples of Alosia. Driven from their homelands, they fled to the mountains. They worship Gavelda, the creator goddess. Gavelda lives in the Mount on Lenio and sends fire down from above to rid the world of evil. It is believed that the Gatamists got the whole idea of Gautama from the Bermonian earth goddess Gavelda. The Bermonians often clash with the Sakahotans in the foothills, as they persistently raid their shepherds. As you drive your ox and plow, you take a deep breath of clean mountain air, looking out upon the flower-dotted landscape. Little Ugachi goes out to herd the sheep when you see several figures clamber out of the woods. Kiroti wachan wach pirigan kora, they sing as they come ever closer. Go to the shelter, Becha. I'll hold them off, you yell. Blood coursing through your veins. Clang, dong, the bells go off, and you and your fellow countrymen stand in arms. Bermon achako fra, the enemy sings. Bermon is dead. You didn't get much sleep last night. Not that you wanted to spend more time unconscious. Ugachi, the high priestess yells. Coming, mother, you respond, sweat pouring down every inch of your body. This shall be your last day. You have been designated as the living sacrifice for Gavelda. After years of service in the monastery, you know this is the highest honor a woman can achieve, but you're only 16. After long hours of hiking, you reach it, Mount on Lenio, home of Gavelda. The priesthood leaves you there to die as the heat and air start to kill you. You try to find a way out, but there's no hope. You fall to the ground near unconscious when you look up and see an angel. Gavelda priests didn't throw people into the volcano. The heat makes that impossible. They would simply go as far as they could, and then leave the sacrifice to die from heat stroke and suffocation. Power in Bermon was mainly held by a ruling class of dragon riders. Much like dragons, the dragon riders were very prideful, viewing themselves as superior. Dragon riders really just used their power to live wildly and luxuriously, roaming the land collecting food for them and their mount. Dragons got on with it too, because why would I roam the plains for bison when I can just eat sheep from my subjects? The story goes that Helgol Hlezesbech was the first dragon rider. He was the grandson of the first man and received the dragon from Gavelda. In return, Gavelda wanted the dragon riders to be the guardians of nature, and to bring sacrifices for her to eat. Due to the quick travel speed of dragons, they were able to maintain control of the vast hills of Bermon. The people of Bermon lived in relative freedom, as the dragon riders were light rulers, simply demanding food, luxuries, and obedience. Also, rebels would be burnt to a crisp. They were also one of the first societies to develop bronze working. Every year, when the leaves started to fall, the dragon riders would meet up at the base of Mount Lenio and debate law and policy. Each dragon and each rider would have one vote, and the two parties were seen as equals. Traders from all over the known world would travel there too in order to sell trinkets and treasures to the decadent riders. Anyone can become a dragon rider if you're willing to steal its egg from the high mountain peaks. Upon the western coast of Alosia sits a land under oppression. Kairuan merchants and pioneers cultivate a land that is not their own, far from the watch of Lord Saito. The Nabrulers fight an endless guerrilla campaign to liberate their homeland from the invader, ironically taking Waro, the Kairuan sea god, as their symbol of rebellion. The Nabrulers believe in the spirits of nature, viewing this land as their birthright. Rogonists, mainly from Goza, often fight alongside the Nabrulers, viewing them as a fellow warrior people. But this is not a one-sided issue. Young Kairuan dissidents are sent out to Ngaburu colony to obtain a free life, and even more flee destruction from the Civil War. Merchants mainly control the coast of the cities and are liberated from crippling taxes at home. They both view the other as savages, but not all are so violent. Intermarriage and even cross-cultural towns are not uncommon. The Tungli roam the vast Murumban steppe, hunting the herds of bison that wander the continent. Upon their mighty steeds, they are the first among men to ride the horse. The Tungli aren't a single group of people, but rather a collection of related nomadic horsemen. Tungli can range from pitch-black skin to pasty white due to the scale of their territory, being quite tolerant of other races. They have a rigid social structure, with the Allfather having absolute control of the clan. The Allfather is the clan patriarch, with all members of the clan being descendants of him. Women are taken as victory prizes after wars with other clans, and are not considered clan members. The Tungli believe in order and blind faith in their patriarchs, as Oran Umbe, father god of the sky, controls everything, from the direction the grass blade tilts to how far the waves go inland. There are many gods that have autonomy over their segment of reality, but all are mere puppets of Oran Umbe. At the end of days, Vuollen shall be consumed by Oran Umbe, and he shall be all there is. Kichumbe! You jolt out of your bed, ripping your sleeping bag as you go. Clambering out of your tent, you see a vast field of fire and men. The Kichumbe have arrived. You grab a spear and shield and run out to your horse. Ah yes, Wumplech. Another day for honor and glory, you say to your horse while mounting him. You ride out to the battle, and you stand among your brothers in formation. Haran's glory! The All-Father yells, and the charge begins. Right before your spear tips meet, a sky demon comes down and burns the enemy, almost scorching you. Immediately, the warring clans stop their quarrel. There are bigger fish to fry now. The Kichumbe retreat, and your clan scrambles to pack, with entire sections of the camp being burnt. Your wife and daughter scramble to you, hopping onto Mflech as your clan flees the beast. Leopard dragons, called so for their coloration, typically only hunt herds of horses, but when said herds are in the possession of men, the dragons go after them too. The Tungli view dragons as demonic beasts of destruction, and enemies of Oranum Bay. The Tungli moved with the horses and buffalo, going where they went. Large towns of tents would form nearby these herds, and could stay there for weeks. The tents were large, dome-like structures, and could house up to 12 people per tent. These camp cities were tight and dense, with disease spreading rapidly, especially horse plague. Where was I? A disease spread from the fleas of horses. Those with horse plague would go insane and live another 4 years before death. However, it can only affect those with blood type A+. The infected would be cast out to live in the wilderness. War among the clans was seen as a way of life. Clans would fight over many things, although it was mostly fought over herds of buffalo and horses. Women were also fought over. The clans themselves would be named after their original Allfather. Upon the death of the Allfather, succession was missing. Most of the time, clans would split. When clans split, it was often violent, with the best warriors becoming the next Allfathers. Eventually, Ntwil Kame, Allfather of the Makwe, came up with an idea. After he had conquered a vast territory circa 45-12 AC, he wanted to maintain the empire after his death. His idea was, upon later death, all warriors would vote on the next Allfather. Candidates would be selected by the Allfather during his reign. Alright guys, so that was World Building Diary number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments section or on Reddit where I'll post it. If this is realistic, is it good? How good is it? How realistic is it? I honestly want to know. I won't be offended by any comments. So yeah, guys, and sorry for the illustrations. They're rather childish. But I honestly don't. I honestly can't make art. So yeah, guys, hope you have a good day, and I'll see ya.